Hello everyone and welcome to episode 31 of my Guild Wars 2 series. Today we are continuing our adventures on our Asuran engineer and we are heading into chapter 3 of the Asuran personal story. So let's go ahead and go to Radasum so we can begin the story now. Arriving in Radasum, we have a letter in our mail here, so let's go ahead and read it. It is from Zosha, titled A Presentation and an Opportunity. Savant, how familiar are you with a professor named Gorr? I've been following his research, and he's drawing some fascinating connections between worldwide magic levels and the rise of the Elder Dragons. He's scheduled to present his latest findings at an academic conference, and I want you to help me gauge how valid they are. I also think there might be a unique opportunity for you in all of this. See you there, Zosha. So, with the chapter 3 of each person's story, we are now going to be learning about the orders of Tyria. So let's go ahead and make our way downstairs and we can begin this journey and we can start focusing more on the Elder Dragons instead of the Asuran domestic problems, but we will still be learning a little bit more about the Ashura because this is the final chapter of the first act of the personal story, the version of the act when you are playing as an Ashura. So let's go ahead and start this mission here called A Bold New Theory.
Good, you got my letter. Gorr's just about to start his presentation. This should be interesting.
Now let's welcome Professor Gorr.
The seventh law of Maginamics posits that magical energy cannot be destroyed. Today, I will prove that magic is a limited resource like water or timber. Using my advanced equipment, I have detected significant drops in the world's ambient magic levels. This drop, I believe, is directly attributed to the return of the Elder Dragons. They consume magic at an alarming rate. If the dragons are not stopped soon, they will leech all of the magic from the world.
Ah, bosh! Magic doesn't get consumed. It changes form and concentration, but it always returns. It's part of a closed system.
I have proof.
Boo.
The data is...
Boo.
Get off the
Where
stage!
did I leave those notes? I must have left them in my lab. Please, excuse me while I fetch my records. I can prove the problem exists, then we can focus on its solution.
So this is some very interesting information coming from Gorr.
Until then, please welcome Sepha from the Phrenologist crew.
So let's go ahead and chat with Zosha now, and we also have a scholar, an agent, and a crusader here.
I see a lot of overlap in Gorr's theory and our shared goals.
As do I. If Gorr's research aligns with the Priory's, we may be looking at a cultural revolution.
Revolutions are won militarily, not academically. Still, Gorr's theory could prove useful.
I agree, but nothing can happen until Gorr makes his case. Why don't we all settle in and listen?
Savant, allow me to present 3 of Ratasum's finest minds. Slep of the Vigil, Batanga of the Order of Whispers, and Crosso of the Durman Priory. I asked them here to listen to Professor Gorr's speech, because they all have an interest in fighting the Elder Dragons.
Pleased to meet you, Savant. The Durman Priory is dedicated to research and exploration that will help us combat the Elder Dragons. As you can imagine, we've been watching Professor Gorr's progress with keen interest. I'm glad to see you share that interest.
We all share the Priory's interest, just not their methods. In the Order of Whispers, we specialize in covert activity, information, infiltration, and assassination. I understand you're more of a doer than a researcher, so you'll appreciate this. If Gorr's theory gives us a clear avenue of attack, we intend to use it.
How clear does a target have to be for you sneaks? The dragons aren't exactly tiny, nor do they keep a low profile. The Vigil's army of dedicated fighters was founded to confront the dragons through force of arms. I'm here to see if Gorr's work can help us do that.
Pleased to meet you all. Professor Gorr's theory is groundbreaking, and the implications are monumental. I'm interested to hear him finish his presentation.
He should be back soon. Let's see if any of the other speakers have any insights for us while we wait.
An exhaustive study of Tyrian physiognomy led me to derive what I call Sepha's constant. Multiplied by the mean ratio of body mass to brain size, it yields an important racial metric. namely, said race's importance as a factor in the eternal alchemy. Asura scored highest naturally, Then in descending order, we have Sylvari, Char, Human, and Norn.
Your attention, please. I have just been informed that our colleague Gorr will not be returning. The Arcane Eye reports that he was killed in a tragic lab accident while recovering his notes. It is a terrible blow to science. We should all mourn one of Ratasum's finest minds. On that dolorous note, this seminar is hereby concluded. Thank you for coming.
Gorr died just as he was about to present proof of his theory. Does that strike anyone else as suspicious? Even dubious?
It does. I'd like to inspect Gorr's lab and review his documentation. Though if the Arcane Eye's involved, we may not get that chance.
The Order of Whispers can help. The Arcane Eye serves the Arcane Council, right? They have to do what the Council says. It's in their charter. We simply pay a visit to High Counselor Flax's lab, find the materials to make a convincing forgery, and walk right past the Arcane Eye.
How unnecessarily complicated. Simpler to just outwit the sentries outside Gorr's lab. The Arcane Eye can't match the Priory's brain power.
I'll leave fact-finding to the Priory and Whispers. When you lot establish a clear objective, the vigil will be ready.
Listen, Savant, I'm pursuing a long-term, big-picture strategy here, so I want you to take charge. Choose the most viable plan and see it through. We need to know what Gorr was going to show us, and if he was silenced, we need to know who did it and why. Good luck.
So now we have two choices here, where we can gather the documents that Gorr had by forging the documents that we need in order to enter his lab, or by basically breaking into his lab by outwitting the sentries. And I think for our first decision here, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Derman Priory here, and we can go ahead and outwit the security there, and we can go ahead and break into the lab.
You've chosen wisely. I'll meet you outside Gorr's lab.
So we can go ahead and obtain our first shoulder pads on this character, and I'll go ahead and just equip them. And then we can go ahead and run towards Gorr's lab. So we have these Assura gates here, that we have an Assura gate to Lion's Arch, but we have this other Assura gate here that we can actually go ahead and go through for the story mission in order to reach Gorr's lab. So we just teleported to his lab, which is in a location near Ratasum. We can see Ratasum right there, and if we come on our map, here it says Advanced Metamystics Lab, just north of Ratasum, but let's go ahead and get past the Arcane Eye sentries.
There's nothing going on and nothing to see here, citizen.
But we need to get inside. We're expected.
My orders come from Agent Ract himself, and he says no one gets in without clearance from the Arcane Council. Move along.
Empirically speaking, we're not getting in through the front door. The guards won't risk getting on Ract's bad side. He's a particularly nasty character. We need a better plan, and fast. The Priory's reliquaries are full of magical items. If the dragons feed on magic, those reliquaries become prime targets.
We could overpower the guards, grab what we need, and fight our way out.
Too public. We don't want to alert the entire Arcane Eye and everyone else in the vicinity. We need to think our way in. Ract is meticulous and cautious. He would have sent hazmat suits in to analyze dangerous areas in the lab. Follow my lead. I've got an idea.
So you have some hazmat suits over here with two Arcane Eye agents.
Because you're about to see stars!
Makes sense now.
So we can go ahead and knock them out, and then we could steal the hazmat suits. Looks like two other guards came into the fight here, so let's go ahead and fight them. I don't feel too bad about damaging Arcane Eye agents because we know how corrupt
Grab a
the Arcane
hazmat suit.
Council is.
Once we're disguised, they won't look twice.
So let's go ahead and get in the hazmat suit, and then let's enter Gorr's lab. Looks like we can go through the front entrance, where these two guards over here are.
We've got hazmat golems coming in. Open the doors.
Look there. I believe the common parlance is a body bag.
So let's go ahead and walk over here, and we can go ahead and investigate this body bag here. This is like a model that I don't really remember ever seeing before. Even though I've done this story, I've kind of forgotten about it. It seems very unique here.
Look at this, Crasso. I don't know this poor devil, but it's definitely not Gorr.
I concur. The Arcane Eye must have him socked away somewhere, and if Gorr's not here, there's no need for us to linger.
Agreed. But what do you think happened here? Does the Priory have any information or insight that could explain this?
We have entire libraries full of information on the Arcane Eye, on Ract, and on Gorr's research, but this doesn't make any sense to me. Yet. Of course, we need to be alive and unincarcerated to learn more. With that in mind, let's make a graceful exit before Ract gets wise.
You there. Nobody's supposed to be on shift right now. Identify yourself.
We're the Special Task Detail. Our orders are to examine all the,
You're not a member of this crew. Who are you, and what are you doing here?
We're just, never mind. Time to fight!
Intruders! Shut down all hazmat suits! This area is compromised!
Call for backup. We've got
Never
So
capitulate!
the hazmat suits are shut down, so let's go ahead and deal with these 4 guards here we dealt with 4 earlier. So we can go ahead and clear them out and then make a hasty escape, and hopefully we don't get caught in the process, because that is going to complicate things as we try to figure out where Gorr went, because we have this dead body here of an Asuran in Gorr's lab, but it is not Gorr. So that is very suspicious, and it looks like there are more RKI agents coming here alongside Ract. So this is probably not going to be good for us.
Freeze. What's going on here? Who are you?
We're admirers of Gorr's work. We came to pay our respects to his body. But as you can see, it's not here.
I have no idea what you're talking about. There's nothing even remotely out of the ordinary here, except you. Since this is a secure area, and since you're not authorized to be here, run, or I will exercise my right to use lethal force.
Let's go, Krasso. I want to regroup with the others and find out what they and Zoja make of this.
Carry on, Savant. I'll meet up with you and the others later.
So let's go ahead and make a hasty exit here back through this Ashura gate, and then let's go ahead and group up with Zoja. And here we are at the Applied Developments Lab, our home instance, and we can go ahead and come into here, I believe, or it's further down, and then we can go ahead and meet with Zoja. I believe it's indeed further down, so I'll go ahead and leave this building, even though this building is pretty cool, and we can go ahead and go down the staircase here. And down here we have Zoja and our 3 friends here.
So Gorr's death was a
Just
fraud.
finish your treatise.
How does knowing that help us? The problem is still Elder Dragons. While you poke around in back alleys and libraries for information, the Vigil is out there fighting.
And while you're fighting, Whispers is setting up the means to deliver a death blow. We appreciate the distraction you provide, but you don't really think you're going to overpower an Elder Dragon, do you?
Swords alone won't get results. Neither will intrigue. The Priory supports a more holistic approach. We intend to learn all we can about the dragons and their weaknesses before we strike.
Ract's Arcane Eye agents were all over Gorr's lab. They removed a body they claimed was Gorr, but it wasn't. I suspect he's still alive.
If he is, the Arcane Eye has him. They run a remote facility in a human village called Garenhof. It's isolated, remote, a perfect place to stash Gorr.
Finally, a concrete objective. Just say the word, and I'll have Vigil soldiers standing by to storm Garenhof.
No, Ract is too good at this game for that to work. But I'm better. We can use Garenhof's low profile against him. I say we stage a demonstration and get ourselves arrested. Ract will haul us in to avoid undue attention. Then we break out and bring Gorr with us.
Regrettably, I cannot participate. I must confer with my colleagues in the Priory, but I wish you luck. Let's regroup when the mission is complete.
I want you to take it from here, Savant. I'm going with Krasso to help the Priory look into Gorr's theory. We both need to make inroads with the orders for my long-term plan to be viable. Work with whichever one here you think will get the job done.
I will. I'm as eager to figure this out as you are. And eventually, you'll need to share some details about this long-range plan of yours.
So we have another decision here. We can go to Garenhof, which is a really cool city in Kessex Hills that we explored a long time ago. A big prominent thing about that place is the Wizard's Tower nearby, so we have another opportunity to go there and visit it. But when we are there, we can either storm the Arcane Council lab that they have there, or we can basically kind of break in by getting arrested by the Arcane Eye, and then they bring us into the facility, and then we can break out of the facility from the inside. And I think that plan sounds much cooler, so let's go ahead and talk to this agent here, and we can go ahead and go with this plan. can get our rewards, and then we're going to have to start making a journey all the way over towards Kessex Hills. So our nearest location to there is here in Brisbane Wildlands, here at where we started the last episode. So let's return here. So let's make our way to Garenhof. We're just going to be running through this area, and we'll take some more time when we return to Brisbane Wildlands to look into this area in depth. But while we are running, I want to do two things. One, I kind of just want to comment on how weird it is that the Arcane Eye has like a laboratory or a facility in Garenhof, the Arcane Eye being like a security council for the Ashura, specifically for the Arcane Council, and then Garenhof, which is a human city, and Kreidalands, which is overall kind of governed by human bodies. So it's just really interesting. And then second, we just leveled up to level 31 from the conclusion of that story mission. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at our hero panel here, and we can go ahead and pick out an elite skill. We don't have any options here in gadgets, but we have an option here in kits, an option here in turret, and an option here in elixir. And I think I want to go with the elixir elite skill. So let's go ahead and train this up, and hopefully we have enough hero points to get it. We do not. We need 5 more hero points. So I think when we level up level 33, we will be able to get that. So we could actually go into our build here, and let's go ahead and select one of the 3 Asuran elite skills to have for now. So we have summon power suit, summon a power suit which you or your allies can enter and use to combat foes, summon a 7 series attacking golem to fight for you, or summon a D series defensive golem. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the 7 series golem here, so we can go ahead and just spawn this, and it will deal some damage to our enemies while we are fighting. And every racial skill is pretty fun, but they are a little bit weaker compared to normal skills, so that it kind of doesn't force people into picking a specific race for the benefits of those skills. But now we can enter Kessex Hills, and we can start making our journey eastwards from the entrance here. Popping out of Brisbane Wildlands, we are right next to Fort Zama, so let's go ahead and run basically the whole length of Kessex Hills to the exact opposite corner. Here we are entering the village of Garenhof, so let's go ahead and make our way through the city here, and you can go ahead and come to the western side all the way down here, I think, or it's actually right above us. The city is a little interesting because it's kind of layered, so there's like multiple tiers of the city. So let's go ahead and come around here, and then we can come up here, and then I think we'll be dropping down a little bit again back down here, and we can navigate through all these streets here. I actually just want to take a little bit of a moment to explore, because this is really cool. I really love like kind of like city atmospheres like this. I think it's like really pretty. You can just walk all around here, and we can see there's just a ton of buildings. I saw one building right over here that we can actually enter, and I don't think there's going to be too much in here, except it is really cool. We have a little bit of a kitchen here. Looks like there's a stove. We can come upstairs here where we can see there's a bed there, and then another stairs up here, and looks like there is something going on right there. So let's go ahead and come back downstairs, and we can see if that has anything to do with the Arcane Eye, and we can go ahead and try to figure out what's going on in this city here.
This is the Arcane Eye's hidden safe house. Gorr is almost certainly inside.
It looks formidable. Getting us in and getting him out will be problematic. How should we play this?
By raising a ruckus. If we wave banners and shout Gorr's name at the top of our lungs, the Arcane Eye will pounce. They'll drag us in and lock us up until we cool off and agree not to make any more mischief. Here's a banner. Wave it around, make some noise, and let's get ourselves arrested. We'll show the Arcane Eye what real spy masters are like.
So this should be a little fun. We have a banner right here, so let's go ahead and stage a mock protest to provoke the Arcane Eye. So we have a few different skills here. So these last 3 skills is to protest for Gorr's freedom. So let's go ahead and use these skills.
We'll poke you right in the Arcane Eye. Free Gorr! Free range! Free beer! What do we want?
This is a
Free
restricted
Gorr!
area, citizen.
When do we want
Clear
it?
out.
We won't leave until all Tyria hears our demands. Release Gorr!
You were warned. Subdue these boneheads and don't bother being gentle.
So let's go ahead and defeat these Arcane Eye agents here. We are wanting them to arrest us, so we can go ahead and cause even more issues here. We have beaten up several members of the Arcane Eye in this episode, and I think we will probably be doing it for a little bit more at least. So let's go ahead and continue fighting them all.
Now, to get apprehended. Make it look natural, Savant.
Had enough, Scofflaw? Good. Now come with us.
You're under arrest. It's about time, Flatfoot. I mean, we won't be silenced. You can't lock up the truth.
So here we are in prison.
I don't know who you are, but thank the alchemy you've come. I'm completely innocent.
We know. We're here to rescue you.
Then your methodology is unsound. You're locked up in here too.
All part of the plan. No cell can hold me. Now stand back and prepare to be impressed. There's our egress. Let's move.
It's a breakout. Those woolly-headed protesters are escaping.
So let's go ahead and defeat some more Arcane Eye agents, and then we can go ahead and help Gorr out. It looks like Gorr is indeed alive, and it looks like the Arcane Eye arrested him for some reason and basically staged his death so people would think he is dead. So we can defeat that golem there, and then there's a couple more Arcane Eye agents that we can go ahead and defeat as well. I kind of want to use my golem elite skill here, but I might save it for later because I feel like it's not the best time to use it. Coming out over here, looks like we have a window here, and we can kind of see out into the village here. If you look up into the mountain, I don't think you can see this window, so it's actually kind of like an invisible area. But let's go ahead and come this way a little bit. I'll note that window there, and we can look up in the mountains and see if we see anything. But we can come up here.
Must control the gate.
So it looks like we need to find a terminal in order to open the gate. I think I saw something back here by the window actually. So yes, I see a terminal right here. So let's go ahead and interact with this terminal. We can deactivate the security gate.
Us gone. Time to move.
So let's go ahead and run back over here, and we can go ahead and leave. This is basically a basement to this building here, and we can escape it all together.
Okay, how did you get those doors open? I was watching closely and I still didn't catch it.
Trade secret. Available only to those who sign on with the Order of Whispers full-time. But I will say this. Choose the locks you pick very carefully.
Can I interrupt? I don't want to give the impression that I'm ungrateful, but I can't thank you for saving me until I'm actually safe.
Point taken. Time to go, Savant. I'll take Gorr back via the scenic route, so we're not followed. That's standard Order of Whispers procedure. We'll rendezvous with you and Zojja and the other orders and proceed from there. See you then.
So let's go ahead and leave this area, and we can go ahead and return to Radisum. But first, I'll make a quick trek around the city here, and we can look up into the mountains and see if we can see anything. But I am pretty sure that it was all invisible. And looking up into the mountain there, it looks like I cannot see anything that looks like Asuran tech. The only kind of note of Asuran tech that I found in the city was some stuff inside that building there when we were in there. But it looks completely invisible from the outside, even though it is a pretty big complex on the inside. But now, I'll go ahead and return to Radisum. Here is all of our friends with Professor Gorr now.
We're seeing a sharp increase in dragon minion activity at several key locations.
I know. Vigil resources are stretched thin. As soon as we clear an area out, more minions push in.
One bright spot in all this extra activity is that the Priory has been able to capture several minions for study.
Your bright spot is pretty dark, Scholar. At least Professor Gorr is safe for now.
All of us are safe for now. What about later, when the dragons come at us in force?
Thank you all for collaborating on my rescue. Imagine jailing me for a theory. Outrageous! Opprobrious!
I agree. The best way to counter such opprobrium is to prove your theory correct. How do we demonstrate that the dragons consume magic?
Simple. We find an area infested with dragon minions, let's say undead, and clear it while Gorr measures the ambient magic. Then we track the changes in Gorr's readings. End result, fewer undead, we get data, and we give the environment some relief. It's a win-win-win.
I prefer a more controlled experiment. The Priory has already captured several dragon minions for advanced study. This definitely qualifies.
Sounds like two sound options. The Order of Whispers will be standing by when you're finished collecting your data.
I know what you're going to say, Zojja. But before I pick an option, I want to know what your mysterious long-range plan is.
In a word, alliances. Building new ones and repairing old ones, all to fight the dragons. You're working with the orders to bring about the former. I'll deal with the latter in due course. For now, we need to substantiate Gorr's theory. How you get the proof is up to you.
So we have another option here in this chapter. We can either go with the Priory or the Vigil, and I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the Vigil because we have worked with the Priory and the Whispers so far in this episode. So I think it is a good time to go ahead and help the Vigil out here. And in general, I just like this plan a little bit more, I think. So let's go ahead and go with the Crusaders plan, and we can go ahead and pick one of these masks here. We have a Privateer hat that we can go ahead and equip. So let's go ahead and do that, and we can see it is a very big hat with a feather in it. But now let's go ahead and head to First Haven, and we can go ahead and help the Crusader and the Professor with this little experiment. First Haven is located in Gendarn Fields, and I believe this is the third time so far in this series for the third chapter of the personal story. Every single race except the Norn so far, we have not played through the Savari yet, has had us come to Gendarn Fields to kind of near this area actually, especially for the Char personal story. But we are here now again on the Ashura, so let's go ahead and get this waypoint in First Haven, and then we can go ahead and enter this story mission. We have the story mission field test with really cool concept art here, and we have Professor Gorr over here, and we have the swamp further south.
For me and my test? I'm impressed with the level of the Vigil's commitment.
We're determined to see you succeed, Professor.
So glad to hear it. I need to complete a few calibrations, and then we can begin.
With respect, Professor, we need to begin. Tell us how you plan to proceed, and we'll make sure you're not interrupted.
Of course. This area has, a concentration of dragon minions. Undead, to be precise. Large enough to provide an accurate measurement. Once I have that, it's a simple matter of correlating that data with the baseline metrics I've derived back in my lab.
We are standing by, Professor. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Form up, Vigil. We've no time to waste.
I'm sure Slep is competent, but I'll stick with you if that's all right.
So let's go ahead and move out. Looks like we have some Scout Drake here, which is probably the least of our worries as we come into the swamp here that is infested with Risen. Fortunately for us, we have 3 additional Vigil soldiers here. We have a Char, a Savari, and a human alongside all of us Asurans here.
Oh, I'd forgotten how fragrant swamps can be. This spot is ideal for my purposes. Is it acceptable to you?
It is. We're on the edge of the minions' territory. As safe a spot as we can hope for.
Excellent. Though I should warn you, this device may attract some unwanted attention. Stand by. The device is working perfectly, and I'm getting some readings.
I see a Risen Brute all the way over there. Looks like some Risen Thrall, not just 1, 3 looks like just appeared. Let's go ahead and begin fighting them. We can go ahead and stand our ground here, and we can defend Professor Gorr. Looks like I accidentally attacked the Risen Brute there, but we can go ahead and deal with him. It's probably the best thing overall to just clear out a little bit of the Risen here.
Not much activity here, on the scanner that is. Perhaps if we wait a little longer?
We have some more Risen coming over here. I'm going to go ahead and summon... Oh, that is a channel, so I think I'll go ahead and save that for the next group, because it looks like we're dealing with this group pretty fine. We can summon our 7 series golem, which takes 2 seconds in order for it to spawn, and then lasts 40 seconds. So this group is dealt with. Let's wait for the next group to come in. We have this group here, and we'll go ahead and summon my golem now, and we can go ahead and deal with them. We have an SYN 7001.
Nearly there. Just a bit more.
Let's go ahead and heal this Vigil Crusader here. Looks like Professor Gorr is almost done with collecting his readings here. I'm not a big fan of how the scanner looks here with all this visualness coming out of it. But we have some more Risen here, so let's go ahead and deal with them.
Death! Good.
It looks like our golem is kind of a tank, where the Risen seemed to be attacking it. But let's go ahead and chat with Professor Gorr.
These readings aren't nearly strong enough to be conclusive.
We're still on the fringes of their territory. If we could delve deeper into the swamp, we might find larger minions there.
Fine, but larger minions are a larger threat. Stay close, Professor. The deeper we go, the more danger you're in.
So let's go ahead and work our way further into the swamp here, and we can find a larger, more powerful undead test subject. And we can go ahead and fight some Risen all the way through. And it looks like some of the drakes here wanted to deal with us as well.
Uh-oh, I think we have company.
I have another group of Risen here. We are right next to where the final moment of the final chapter of... We are right next to where the final moment of the final mission of Chapter 3 of the Char personal story was. So I'm having some nice flashbacks to when we did that. It feels like a very long time ago now. The base game of Guild Wars 2 is very expansive, and there is a ton of stuff to cover.
It should give us some useful readings. Just to verify, the Division of Labor says you fight that thing while I collect data, yes?
So let's go ahead and fight this thing, and Professor Gorr can go ahead and collect some information.
Everything I need. We are getting the data we need. Yes! The readings are much stronger here.
So we dealt with that abomination, and hopefully Gorr got everything he needed.
This is fantastic! The larger the minion presence, the less ambient magic. Finally! Irrefutable proof of my theory. The dragons do consume magic. Thank you. Thank you for rescuing me, for helping me collect this data, for everything.
I'm proud to be of assistance, but it's all part of my duty as Vigil to protect Tyria and its people from the dragons. Their effect on the environment is merely a symptom of the larger disease, but now that we understand that symptom, we're closer to a cure.
We still have to convince the Arcane Council, and the Arcane Eye is still out to control the impact of Gorr's findings. Our next step has to be precise and effective. For that, we'll need input from the others. Let's share this data with Zoja and the other orders.
So with this resounding information that we have just found, let's go ahead and return to Zoja, and we can go ahead and update Zoja and all our friends in Radasum about this new information that we have. Here we are back in Radasum, and we can go ahead and reconvene with all of our friends here.
My theory is confirmed. Thanks to you all, we have conclusive proof that the dragons are consuming the world's magic at an alarming rate.
This is the first step to building a coalition to battle the dragons. We need to tell everyone, the entire Asura population, as quickly as possible. Ract and the Arcane Eye won't allow it. So how do we get vital information past a highly trained, secret police force dedicated to keeping it contained?
If the Priory called a conference, all the most influential geniuses in Radasum would attend. Ract wouldn't dare touch them. And once they know, the news can't help but spread.
Word of mouth isn't reliable. Not against Ract. We need mass communication. We should commandeer the Golem Control Center and broadcast a message from there.
The Arcane Eye is the real problem. If we attack them head-on and take the fight to Ract himself, they won't be able to contain Gorr's theory.
This is it, Savant. All 3 orders want you as a member. If you're willing, the plan you choose now will determine the order you join. Permanently.
Oh, I'm willing. That'll put me on the inside, with access to all of that order's resources from here on. That's what you meant by building alliances.
Partially, yes. The rest will come after we present Gorr's theory to the world. Now, select a plan, and remember, the order you choose is the order you join.
So now we have the most important decision of this chapter, where we can join one of the orders. So far we have explored every single order in the game, where we joined the Vigil, and then we joined the Order of Whispers, and then we joined the Priory. So I think I'm going to make my decision based off which story step here I like the most, as well as the one that kind of fits my character, which I haven't really thought too much about this character's lore that I kind of want to build up. But I think I want to go with the Vigil, and we can join the Vigil because I really like the plan of basically attacking the Arcane Eye and just dealing with them, because I really don't like the Arcane Eye and I don't like the Arcane Council. So let's go ahead and go with that plan. So we can talk to the Crusader here, and we can join the Vigil, and then we can complete the final mission of this chapter here. Leveled up to level 32, so we can go ahead and gather our rewards, and then let's go ahead and deal with the Arcane Eye. So the Arcane Eye's headquarters is located in Gandharan Fields, which is very interesting. So let's go ahead and make our way east here, and then we can go ahead and attack the headquarters with the Vigil. So here we have the entrance to our story mission here for Racked and Ruin. So let's go ahead and enter it with this beautiful concept art, which I think is of the vineyard in Kessex Hills, but we're in Gandarian Fields right now, so that's a little interesting.
Stay down on the ground.
But let's go ahead and come into here.
The farmhouse is secure. Slep is waiting for you downstairs.
So the farmhouse here is secured, but the Arcane Eye have their base of operations underneath. So let's go ahead and talk with the Crusader here.
Ah, here's the Vigil's latest and greatest. This is your order's mission, so I'll leave the briefing to Crusader Slep.
Welcome to the Vigil, recruit. There's serious work ahead of us. Racked is somewhere in this complex. He's wily, dangerous, and he has to be taken down. This is a straightforward search and destroy mission. We search until we find Racked, and then we destroy.
What about Arcane Eye agents?
Destroy. If they interfere, then they are colluders in Rackt's effort to stifle Gorr's message. Show no mercy, and finish the job.
That's why I joined the Vigil. Like the old Char aphorism says, the best defense is to wipe out your enemies. Let's go.
She's about to blow!
So we have a ton of explosions right there. And let's go ahead and come into here and we can fight the Arcane Eye. There are a ton of golems here. This is a very tight corridor, a very tight cave, and there are a ton of mobs in here that we can fight, as well as a ton of Crusaders on our side here. We have a Vigil War Master that transformed into a bear spirit there. But now we can come into this little complex here. We have Racked up top there, so let's go ahead and deal with all of the Arcane Eye agents around here. I'm definitely going to be enjoying this right now, where we can go ahead and deal with all of these agents here. We have kind of learned in the last 3 chapters of the Asuran personal story that Asuran politics are definitely a mess, and that the Arcane Eye and the Arcane Council aren't the best organizations in the world. So let's go ahead and run up here, and it looks like it is blocked off.
I'll bury you and everything you know.
So we can go ahead and chat with Racked here.
I should have known. A full frontal assault could only mean the Vigil. Look, you've even recruited the Snap Savant. Big mistake, soldier. Now the Arcane Eye will make a point of dismantling your little army piece by piece, starting with you.
You trumped up little Martinet. Does that mean you'll actually fight us, instead of hiding behind the Council's authority?
Don't bother taunting him, recruit. He's the objective. Take him out.
So let's go ahead and take them out. Looks like there's 2 more Arcane Eye agents here. So I'm going to go ahead and summon my golem if I don't have it interrupted. And we can go ahead and put down our turret there. And with our flamethrower in hand, let's go ahead and deal with Racked.
Trained with the Arcane Eye. Yeah, nice try. But you can't kill me. You don't
and it looks like we are
clearance.
defeating him so fast. And it looks like we have just killed him there.
This way, Counselor Flax. These people have rescued me before, and you can trust them. Follow me.
So we have Counselor Flax there. Let's go ahead and chat with him, and then let's go ahead and see what he has to say about this situation here. Definitely a very interesting character that we have seen interact with the Inquest before.
Here, you see, Counselor Flax, everything I said is true. The Arcane Eye have been trying to suppress my theory that the dragons are eating magic. My correct theory, I might add. We now have proof that the dragons do consume magic.
We know, Professor. We've always known. Preparations are being made to exploit your discovery for Ratasum's benefit, even as we speak.
Then Racked was working for you all along. You used the Arcane Eye to get Gorr out of the way so you could stifle the truth.
You won't get away with this. We'll tell the world. We'll distribute Gorr's research.
You'll make a lot of shrill noise, as always. And as always, no one will listen or care. You're wasting the Council's time. This audience is over.
So this is definitely troubling news about Flax's involvement in all of this. But let's go ahead and chat with Zosha and see what she has to say about all of this now.
I had no idea the Council was corrupt enough to hoard information that could help Tyria deal with the dragons.
It's stupid pride. They think they can protect Ratasum while the dragons eliminate everything else. The rest of the world can burn for all they care.
Listen, I've fought the dragons, and I'm telling you, the Council alone has no chance against them. The only hope Tyria has is for all the races to join forces.
That is becoming abundantly clear. Although from here on, I think I can handle things in Ratasum. The Vigil has bigger plans for you, recruit. It's time for us to take the fight to the dragons. There's a Vigil contact waiting to meet you in Lion's Arch. He'll give you your first official mission.
Congratulations. Getting you into an order was the first step. Now for the tricky part. I'm bound for Lion's Arch too. I'm meeting an old friend there. We were members of a brilliant team, Destiny's Edge. Things went horribly wrong, but I'm starting to think the team is worth another try. We almost took down an elder dragon without any help, but the dragons are too big for one group to tackle. Tyria needs their experience, and Destiny's Edge needs all the help they can get. Once you're settled in at the Vigil, I may call on you again.
I'll be honored to answer that call. As a member of the Vigil, a citizen of Tyria, and your friend, I'll be ready.
Thank you. This may fail, but I have to at least try. And, to be honest, I wouldn't feel that way if not for you. I'll look for you in Lion's Arch.
So, we have now completed this chapter of the Asuran personal story. That means that we are done with Act 3 of this personal story. So let's go ahead and open this Vigil weapons container, and then let's search for this Vigil's Honor rifle here, and then we can go ahead and accept this reward, and then we can equip it, and we can kind of see what this weapon looks like here, which is kind of basic, but a little cool looking. But I'll go ahead and leave the story mission, and we can return to Ratasum just to go to some of the merchants here. As I've been cleaning out my inventory here, I notice I have a full stack of iron ore that is in my material storage, so I think I'm going to clear this out by taking it out of my inventory here, and then we can sell it on the trading post. And iron ore is one of the best items for like low levels to be able to sell for 2 gold and 82 silver for a stack here, so let's go ahead and sell that, and then we can have some more gold, and then I'll go ahead and sell the strawberry tart because I don't think we need it. It's just like 1 silver. And then we have 2 unidentified dye, so let's go ahead and open these. And we have blush dye and butter dye, so let's go ahead and learn these. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and call this episode good here. We have now completed the first act of 4 out of 5 of the races of Tyria. And next episode, we can go ahead and begin a brand new adventure with the 5th and final race, the Savari. But I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Remember to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. I'll see you next time in the world of Tyria. Goodbye.